When did you, let's see, you were born in Idaho, I guess, weren't you?
No, I was born in Salt Lake on Old 11th South and 2nd East. That's where they lived, my folks, when I was born. And we lived there just a little while, and then we moved to Grandpa Cowley's. That's just out here on 20th East and halfway between 39th and 33rd.
That was Grandma Knudsen's
No, that was
parents.
Grandpa Cowley.
Oh,
That
well,
was
it was Nellie's,
my mother's.
yeah, your mother's mother.
Yeah.
When did you move to Idaho, and what caused that?
Well, we moved to Idaho because Aunt Tora's boys were taken in the war, and we had to. She wanted my dad to go up there and run the farm while they went to war.
Oh, I see.
So
Joe ran the farm up there.
Uh-huh. It was a big 80-acre farm, and it was a grand place to be when you were a child.
Oh, I'll bet. So what made you move back? They came back from the war?
Then she sold her property. Things got so bad, so cheap.
Oh,
We had potatoes that you couldn't sell for 50 cents a hundred,
gee.
and things got real bad, and she decided she didn't want to stay up there any longer, so she decided to go to San Diego, and then we just didn't have any place to live. She sold her place,
Mm-hmm.
so we moved down here.
How did you ever get out in Knudsen's corner? Did Grandpa's father die and then you inherited that, or how did he ever get that place?
Grandpa Knudsen?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, his father, Rasmus, he used to live across the street from where we used to live, across the street.
All over in Van Cots?
Uh-huh.
Is that right? I
Yeah,
didn't know
he had a
that.
frame house over there, and then that was the first house they built when they came here. No, they built a house uptown, and then when they came out here and built the mill, then they moved it across the street, and my grandfather, when he got older enough to marry, then he built where the mill was. And later he took over the mill.
Didn't they have 50 acres there originally? They homesteaded? That's what I
Well, there
heard.
was 40 acres up on the hill,
Yeah.
40 acres. And then there was 4 acres on our place. And then there was, in the grove, and the corner where the heather was, and across the street, that was 8 acres or something. He
Gee.
owned up to...
If he just had that today, we'd all be millionaires, wouldn't we?
Millionaires.
We'd all be,
if
yeah.
they could have held on to that, we would
Yeah.
have been wealthy.
I'll tell you.
Did you ever know where Castles
Yeah.
lived?
Oh, yeah. Joe,
He owned that.
he used to work up there for him.
Yeah.
Isn't that ironic that they bought it and then he ended up working for him? Gee.
There was something going wrong there. I really think if they'd have stayed in the church and went along with them, I think that things would have turned out so much better for them.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
So, and for my dad to have to work like he did, well, and of course my grandfather had to work too, but I mean to be such menial tasks.
I always admired him for being self-sustaining, though, not having to work for the man particularly.
Oh, yeah.
In the end, later years
Yes.
there, he was self-sustaining.
Yeah.
He had the best tomato patch of anybody in the world, I think, and strawberries.
Yes. We really did have a good strawberry patch.
I remember that little, he'd raise them from seeds in the kitchen window there.
Yeah,
I can remember that.
yeah. He used to raise a lot of... he didn't do that till latterly, though. I don't remember him doing that very many years.
Tell me a little bit about my mother when she was little.
Oh, I can tell. What I remember and what's what is so strong is that she was a very good singer, and she was in plays down at the ward. She was in plays for 2 years straight, and had the lead. One was a Japanese play, and the other one was some South Sea nationality play. They were really lovely parts. And Rudy says that he played opposite her in one of them. But I
is that
can't
right?
remember that. And
She
she
went.
was a real good student.
She went to Oakwood, didn't she?
Yeah, she went to
And then to Olympus Junior, called Irving then,
Yeah, went to Irving.
and then to Granite.
And then Granite.
I guess that's where she met Dad, huh? I guess you don't know too much
Or
about
in
how they met.
In the vicinity, you live quite close.
Yeah.
I worked at the store as soon as we came down from Idaho, I worked for the store, and that was when I was 11 years old.
And Dyer's Inn?
Which
Smith's?
was later, but that was Grandpa's store at first.
Oh, was that right? I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
Grandpa owned that. And one Sunday, after we came down here, he had it open in the spring, and we went over there, and he said, "How would you like to work here, Virginia, and tend the store?" I said, "I'd love it." I'm only 11,
Yeah.
and let's see, I was 10 that fall. I wasn't even 11 yet. I was 10 the fall we came down here from Idaho. But
Didn't Mother work there?
no,
Didn't my mother work there for a while? I thought she did. Maybe not.
well, I think she did on the busy days when we'd have quite a lot of people on Sundays like. But Grandpa, he liked to go over and have a nap, occasionally on Sunday. It'd get tiresome for him. So I'd work there alone when it was not too busy.
Huh.
And he'd come back over, and there's lots of days when Dyers took it over, I was there almost myself. They used to come out at night. They worked at ZCMI, both of them, in the day, and then they came out and worked in the store, and then eventually they had some bedrooms built there when they built that party dining room and that. And then when they quit or when they retired, they were there all the time.
They've closed the road east there
Isn't
now.
that
They're
a
putting a
mess?
freeway in, torn the old service station
Would you ever
down.
known that? My heavens.
No.
And do you know, Raymond, I was out there 2 weeks before I came and saw it like it was. Richard says himself, they just tore it down. Like
Yeah.
they wanted to get it done before anybody complained.
Yeah, I bet that's what they did.
And who is that artist that lives up there?
Freebird.
Freebird.
Mm-hmm.
He says he complained about it often.
Yeah.
No one would take up with him to fight
You
it.
couldn't fight it. Yeah, it's just inevitable,
Well, another thing I want to tell you about your mother. She and Helen Larson. Have you ever heard of Helen Larson? That was Doris's granddaughter.
I've heard of Dorius, but not Helen Larson.
Well, she and Helen, they used to get together and giggle. You have never seen two kids giggle in your life.
Is that right?
Why, just they'd look at each other and they'd giggle. They'd go off in the corners, up in the corner out there there was a lot of oak trees out there, and they liked to go out there and fiddle around and play dolls and paper dolls and things and giggle. You could tell where they were just listening.
Let's see, Dorius was who?
Doris's were right where Tanner's lived.
Oh, they were just neighbors then.
Yeah,
And this was their daughter.
granddaughter.
Oh, granddaughter, okay.
Granddaughter. Doris's were elderly people, and they had children. Helen Larson had come from, what was that, Litchfield or, Ephraim. Doris's came from. And her mother died, and they moved her up there with the Gloriouses.
Mm.
So she went to school up here part of the time.
Hmm.
And your dad, he used to gang up or go along with those kids in Walker Lane and come up to the store and after their swim. And
Oh, is that right? Kids on Walker Lane, who were they?
oh, there was Bill Ryder.
Oh, yeah, I've heard him talk
And,
about that guy.
Oh, it was Elizabeth Terrell. Terrell's had a boy about his age. Can't remember his name. Oh, there was a whole flock of kids down there.
And they'd come up and terrorize the drive-in, huh?
Yeah,
The store.
they did. For sure.
On his horse, I guess.
No, sometimes he came on his horse. That big barrel hat, what do they call him?
He's still got some, he cut off the mane of one of the horses that died. That was in his photo album. Some, it's just a strand of hair off the horse.
Oh. Oh, those were the times, my heavens. I worked there 10 years. You can believe it.
At the store? So you were 21 when you quit.
Yeah.
Where did you meet your husband, Alan, Sr.?
Well, I went to Jordan High School,
Oh, you did?
and because there was no way to get to Granite. They didn't run buses then. So I went to Granite. That's where Orvie and Ina Smith, you remember them?
Not really. Well, how come Mom went to Granite and you didn't?
Well, they'd got buses by then.
Oh, I see.
I was the only one that went to Jordan.
Mm-hmm. Are you older than Helen? I didn't know that.
I'm the oldest of the family.
Are you? Are
Right.
you? You're up. You're 61 then.
Yes.
This November.
Yeah. No, I just had a birthday on the 3rd.
Oh, did you? Of September?
This.
Is that right? Well, happy birthday.